Hello everybody. Welcome back to London Vegans Live. Every Tuesday night, a very interesting vegan chat with a very special guest each week. I'm delighted to welcome our guest this week, who is Alasdair Corbett from the brilliant EasterGreens in Edinburgh. I've heard so much about this. Hello, Alasdair. How are you doing?
Hi, Phil. I'm great. Thank you. It's so good to be here.
It's good to have you here. I've spoken to Ivy, obviously, who works for you quite a few times. We had her as a very special guest, I think kicking off London Vegans Live, actually. She was the very special guest, first one, with Leo back 4 weeks ago. So, it's great to finally meet you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I loved watching the chat with Ivy and Leo about the year of vegan eats. They've got a lot of really interesting knowledge about food and particularly vegan food, so it was really interesting.
And they take a great picture.
They do, yeah. Guess who does all the photography for EasterGreens? It's certainly not me.
I was just going to say, they look amazing. So tell us about the store, because it's EasterGreens. You've got two, actually. You've got a new store, which was that launched last year?
It was October last year. So we started EasterGreens, or I started EasterGreens actually about this time 2 years ago. I was thinking about what to do with life, and I saw an empty shop and I thought, what could I do in this empty shop? I know, I'll open a vegan grocery store. So I did. And that was 1st of August 2019. So we're almost 2 years in.
I love that. Because I saw the picture of the empty store, and it's amazing what you've done. I mean, it's real determination as well, isn't it? And it's a really positive story. It's like you've created this magical place in this empty space.
Yeah, it was just an empty building when we got it. It used to be a tailor shop, so it was completely changed from that now.
So has it changed quite a lot from day one? Because I mean, there are so many vegan products. You must be spoilt for choice with what to buy in.
Well, I remember starting off, and as with most new businesses, funds were very, very tight. So we just had shelves around the outside of the shop and a couple of fridges, and we managed to get in what we could. We fit in what we could, but it was we got so busy and so popular that we very quickly managed to kind of expand and get more shelving down the middle of the shop. And it all feels very tight because it's a very small shop, but we've fit a lot of products into a very small space.
So you do online delivery as well, is that right? So you've got the two shops that people can go to, but people can buy online.
Yeah, so we've got the two shops, both in Edinburgh, one on Easter Road, just at the top of Easter Road, which is where the name comes from, EasterGreens. And then the other one is in Morningside. And then, yes, people can now shop online. So we have eastergreens.co.uk. They can go on there. They can order pretty much most of what we have in the shops, and they can get that delivered pretty much anywhere in the mainland of the UK, except the Highlands, because trying to go to the Highlands with next day perishable foods is not so easy.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I've never been to Edinburgh. I've always wanted to go. It's such a beautiful place. And I was just saying to you just before we started the live chat that, I need to come and visit. Once, obviously, we're allowed to visit more and it's a little bit more relaxed, with regards to COVID
Yeah.
restrictions. Obviously, they're starting to be.
It's a
It's a lot easier.
beautiful
Will be a lot
city.
easier.
Edinburgh's a beautiful city. So much green space, and if you're visiting as a vegan now, there's just so much choice. There's two vegan grocery shops. I mean, where else can you get that? But beyond that, there's so much, cafes and restaurants, and it's just it's a really good place for vegans, really.
So, have you always been there? Because you mentioned before we started this that you lived in London for a few months, for 4 months, in North London. Have you always been in Edinburgh?
Yeah, I've moved around quite a lot. I would say Edinburgh is my home. It's not actually where I'm from. I'm from the Isle of Mull, which is a little island off the west coast of Scotland. But I've lived in Edinburgh. I came to university here, and then I lived here for a few years after that, and then started moving around. So I was in Manchester for about 3 or 4 years, and then I was in Cambridge for a bit, and then I was in London for a few months, and then about 5 years ago, I think I came back up here.
Excellent. So, tell us about how you decided to open the shop. I mean, was it because you wanted to spread the vegan message? You wanted obviously a vegan business, and because I would imagine that, I mean, it's such good timing, isn't it? Because veganism is snowballing. It's a really good time to open a vegan shop.
Yeah, for sure. It was. I've always been kind of entrepreneurial minded, shall we say, and and I've tried various little different businesses, but this was the big one, the really big. Like, I'm going to take a chance on this, and I just really wanted to open a shop or a cafe or something like that. And when I was looking at it this time round, I had been vegan for about 2 years at that point. And I just knew, like, if I'm going to do something, it has to be vegan. It has to be something that fits in with what I believe and what my values are. So it just made sense. Nobody else was doing it. I thought, why not? It's hard to get, especially when you first go vegan. It's so hard, like trying to go around the supermarkets, look at the labels. It's certainly getting a lot easier, not denying that, because about the same time that we opened the shop, it's about the same time that all the supermarkets decided to really up their game and start labeling everything vegan, even packets of pasta. So it's definitely been hard to compete with that, but we offer something a bit different. I think
it's brilliant though, because I mean, you mentioned obviously it is easier if you're going somewhere like Tesco or Sainsbury's, one of the bigger commercial like superstores. I still think a lot of people prefer to go somewhere that is exclusively plant-based or vegan, just because, I don't know, just for the reason that they know that they're safe in that store and everything is completely vegan. They don't have to worry about looking on labels like you mentioned. I still think it's a special place for people. But I was going to ask you if you have much competition. I mean, are there, because Edinburgh's a very vegan city, isn't it? It came up in a lot of polls as one of the best places to be if you're a vegan.
It does. We've got a lot of, like I said earlier, a lot of vegan restaurants, vegan cafes. We've got 2 vegan shops. In terms of competition for us, obviously we're competing with the supermarkets, but like you say, people are looking to support independent shops, so it's a kind of different option for people. There are health food shops in Edinburgh as well, which I suppose we kind of compete with, but we don't really describe ourselves as a health food shop. Yes, we sell foods that happen to be healthy, but our focus is that everything that we sell is vegan. So, yes, fruit and vegetables, but we also have chocolate and crisps and croissants and, that kind of thing. So it's not exclusively healthy.
Thank God for that as well. Because not everyone wants all that all the time. You've got to have your luxuries, I think.
But like, just think we're giving people the choice.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's that whole thing of I saw a news article, I think it was just yesterday, saying, "Oh, veganism is not as healthy as you think." But I just find that ridiculous. That argument. It's like, well, nobody said that veganism was meant to be the healthiest, diet. It's better for you in so many ways, better for the planet in so many ways. But not everybody wants to have healthy food all the time.
Yeah. It can be, if you go down the whole foods plant-based route, then it can be very healthy, and there's no denying it's definitely better for you than the meat and dairy diets. But just being vegan doesn't necessarily mean thinking about nutrition. It's for a lot of people, or for most people, I think, who choose to go vegan, it's about animal welfare and about the environment, isn't it? So
Absolutely.
you don't have to choose healthy if that's not what you want.
Yeah. So when was it you went vegan? Was it a while ago?
It would
And
be
what was the reason?
2017 of May. So it's just gone 4 years. Um, it came down mostly to watching documentaries. I'd in the past been toyed with being vegetarian and briefly what I guess I would call plant based for a while. More so to do with health. This was going back quite a few years, but now there's just so much information out there that's so easily accessible on platforms like Netflix, where you can watch all the Seaspiracy and Cowspiracy and all these kind of documentaries. And I think I just spent about 2 days watching loads of these documentaries, and I just couldn't see any reason not to go vegan after watching them. Just yeah, it just makes complete sense.
Oh my God, they're
I don't
such an
know.
eye opener, aren't they? These documentaries.
Yeah,
I mean, it's great that so many people are watching them now, and there's that platform that give people the option to watch them, even though they're not necessarily vegan or thinking about going vegan. They will watch these documentaries and they will
yeah,
inspire them to make a change.
yeah. And for whatever reason, because there's so many different aspects to why to follow a vegan diet, and there's different documentaries out there for all of those, whether it's for your health, you've got What the Health, you've got the Game Changers, things like that, or whether it's environmental things, or whether it's just purely for animal welfare. There's the three big reasons, right? And there's documentaries for all of those and loads of information online. So it's accessible for people. No reason not to look at it.
Yeah, definitely. Did you find it really exciting at the time when you went vegan? For me, it was after being vegetarian for a long time. Just it was a sudden switch during
Yeah,
veganuary to go vegan, and I didn't find it difficult at all. I found it really exciting because there seemed to be more options instead of less. It was like I was really
yeah.
thinking about what was on my plate. I was thinking about the variety of food and having a balanced meal every time that I was eating, and just thinking about what I was putting into my food. So I found it positive rather than negative.
Yeah, I had a lot of help. The person I was dating at the time, he was, I guess, the one that made me watch the documentaries, and so it was quite easy to then start eating vegan because I had a mentor, so to speak. So that certainly helped a lot.
We've got a few
I
people to
think
say
that's
hello to.
what happens to a lot.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
thank God he did that, because I think it's the same with my friend Polly that used to host the London Vegan stuff that we do here.
Mm.
She persuaded me to be vegan, and I hadn't really thought about it that much. I went vegan like back in the 90s, a long time ago, and I didn't stand the distance at the time. It was much easier this time round, but now I wouldn't even
Yeah.
dream of not being vegan. It's like it's for life, definitely.
It's crazy looking back, isn't it?
I know, yeah. Yeah, I think you do. You learn so much. Got to say hello to a few people. Catherine, who says Edinburgh looks great for vegans, which kind of ties in with a question I was going to ask you about Edinburgh. And it's a beautiful city, but also if you are vegan, it's a great place. But can you say why it's so great? Because you've got so many options, both in restaurants and obviously in shops such as yours, to be vegan.
Mm. Uh, yeah, it's just such a great community. There's loads of support. Um, I mean, if you're a social media person, there's all the Facebook groups for Edinburgh and for Scotland. But just going into as a vegan business owner and going to go into these cafes and restaurants, and there's places like Sorrelella and the Black Rabbit and Nova Pizza and Seeds for the Soul, to name but a few, and you get to know the people working in there, and it's just everybody's really friendly and supportive. It's really good.
That's a good point, actually, because I think that's one of the things that I always take away from festivals when I go to vegan festivals is how, I don't know, you just feel like it's a camaraderie thing. Everyone's together and having the same beliefs, and I think it's a really important part of being vegan. I think because you all share this passion for veganism, and especially if it's animal welfare, that is obviously the top of a lot of vegans' lists, as it were, with
Yeah.
reasons why they've gone vegan. I think it's great to have that, to share that passion, I think.
Yeah, and not just as running the shop as well. There's all the suppliers as well. So we do a lot of local. We support a lot of local suppliers in the shop. People who make brownies and plant-based frittatas and all sorts of things. And that it's the same. It's the same thing. It's that it's just everybody's doing this because it's something they believe in. It's something that has some more meaning beyond just producing a product. It's a product that actually is beneficial to to the environment and to beyond just themselves, which is really quite exciting.
Absolutely. And we mentioned Ivy and Leo earlier. Look who's popped up.
There they are now.
Evening all. Hello,
Hi,
guys.
Ivy. How are you?
You've probably seen them today, haven't you? Have they
I
been?
did.
Yeah.
I saw Ivy earlier. She was just finishing a shift at one of the shops, so she was on her way home. That'll be her home now.
And we got another question from Catherine. With so many vegan product ranges, how do you select which goods to stock? That's a really good question because there are so many, especially new items, and new brands, new independent companies. It must be, I mean, you must be inundated with so much to choose from.
Well, it's a really difficult job that we've got because we have to taste everything, right? And it's
So
so hard.
difficult. What a
Yeah, all
chore.
those chocolate bars and all those packets of crisps and all those lovely pasta sauces. I mean, somebody's got to take the hit there and actually try them, right? We get a lot of people sending us samples, so we get to try things quite often first before we decide to stock them, which is good because we get some stuff isn't so great, but yeah, some stuff, the good stuff, yeah, we get the good stuff in,
So with you
and
being
some
the
of it.
man, go on.
Go on.
Well,
I
I
was
was
just
going.
going to say some of this stuff is we also look a bit at the company as well and sort of see, well, is this do the values of this company, is it just are they doing it because are they selling the product because they believe in it, or is it just a kind of money spinning thing? So
Jumping on the bandwagon thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
we
I guess
try to.
it's tricky, isn't it? Because we've seen a lot of companies doing that, and a lot of places like Burger King or McDonald's that are supplying the vegan option, which is great because at least it's maybe inspiring other people to take that choice rather than the other choice. It's not ideal, obviously, in that scenario because it's still a company that is predominantly meat based or known for having meat products. But yeah,
But the more mainstream veganism can be, the more people will make that choice. And rather than choosing the animal product, they will choose the vegan option because it's there and they'll try it. I mean, look how popular the Greg's vegan sausage roll is now. It's I think a lot of people just eat that one over the regular one because it just tastes better.
Yeah, absolutely, and it was trending and everything. And Piers Morgan obviously helped out, not with his
Yeah,
negative comments, but actually made it or helped towards it going trending, which
yeah,
which is a great thing. I was going to ask you because you're obviously the managing director and owner of EasterGreens, the store in Edinburgh,
yeah.
whether you give yourself the task of tasting all this food before everybody else, because I would if it
Yeah.
was me.
Uh, there's so much of it, and that's the exciting thing these days. Is that there is just so much of it. There's so much choice. So I do share with the staff, and they get to try them out and give their feedback as well. So.
Excellent. And your customers as well. I mean, you must have a lot of non-vegans buying products, I would imagine. I mean, maybe more vegans in store than not, but do you get a feeling that many people are really inspired by your help as well? Because obviously you have to give information to your customers on what you're selling.
Yeah, we do that quite a lot, particularly for replacement products. So people, when they're kind of on that early stages of their journey and they're into veganism and they're trying to find out about, how do I bake a cake without eggs, and what do I do for my fry up at the weekend? How do I do my bacon roll? That kind of thing. We've got replacements for all those stuff. So that's quite a common one. Quite a lot of the people coming into the shop don't even realize it's a vegan shop because they come in and there's just so much choice. And until they actually start looking for something like eggs or honey, then it's not until that point and they actually ask, oh, have you got eggs? Have you got honey? It's like, well, no, it's because we're a vegan shop and we don't have that stuff. But here's some alternatives, and they get interested and they ask questions, which just raises the awareness of it, because a lot of people don't even realize. I was having a conversation with one lady today who didn't even realize that honey was not vegan. And she was like, but it's not an animal. It doesn't come from animals. And I had to explain the whole thing about the bee industry and, all this cruelty that goes on there. So it's quite interesting conversation sometimes.
Yeah, I can imagine. And I guess you're kind of feeding back off that as well, because that's giving you ideas for what to bring in the store. Let's just take a look at some of these items, because you've got Cracked, which I'd never heard of. This is an egg replacement company, right?
Yeah, it's a relatively new to the market, actually. It's a chilled product, and it can be used. It's very good in baking, and does good things like crepes and that kind of thing. Really good in. I believe it makes good omelets. I haven't tried that yet. I'm seeing that in the picture there, but definitely for baking, it's meant to be pretty good.
Excellent. And you've got the tins there as well with soups and meatballs, but also shouldn't forget the fresh fruit and vegetables as well. It's not just obviously processed food. You've got a lot of fresh items as well.
Yeah, we had a mystery can coin. That's what that picture was. We knew what it was because it was in it with the case of whatever else it was in at the time, but it came in with no label, so that was quite a fun trying to get people to guess what was in the mystery can. And people were shaking it and like trying to listen. Oh, I don't know what it is, and I don't think anybody actually did it.
Somebody said you should make a habit. You should do that as a regular feature. It's like, guess what's in the tin. So what was it in the tin? Did we find out what it was?
It was black chickpeas or something. I actually can't remember now. It was quite a while ago, but it was something quite obscure. So it wasn't like just your regular like tin of tomatoes or something. It was something a little bit different. Those baked beans with sausages actually that are on that picture, you've got to try them as well. They're really good.
Amazing. So much to choose from. Are you finding it's quite difficult keeping up with demands as well? I mean, what's the most kind of in demand requested item that you have? Is it something new or something that people have known for years?
Do you know that the newest thing that we've got in, and we've tried it out in our Morningside shop, and it's been an absolute roaring success. And we've had it for about a month now, and we're going to be getting it into the Easter Road shop very, very soon. But it's something that you maybe don't even think about, that you don't even realize that you're missing, and it's pick and mix sweets. So most pick and mix, jelly sweets, of course, have like gelatin in them, right? And so we've got this whole range of pick and mix sweets now, all your classics like cola bottles and sour apples and all those kind of stuff.
Oh, wow. I want those now. That's so true, though, because you don't really think about it, because it's obviously traditional sweets that you've maybe grown up with and things that everybody used to love. But yeah, as a vegan, you maybe have missed those because there aren't companies that are making them, but there are more now.
Yeah. And you mentioned fruit and vegetables. So we have two products, I think, in our fruit and veg range, which are probably, I would say, the best in Edinburgh, which is cherry tomatoes. We get the really, really good cherry tomatoes, and avocados. Like, I don't think I've ever found avocados in any supermarket that taste like the ones that we do. And it was just a good luck that we found them, but they're really, really good. And another really popular new product as well, back into the chocolate and sweet side of thing, is the Love Raw bars, which are it tastes a bit like a Kinder Bueno, if you remember those.
Yeah.
And they're really good. Really, really good.
I've eaten so much chocolate, literally, like since lockdown, just because it's like a comfort food, I guess, but also because there are always new products to try. And again, with processed food, I'm not saying, that's a bad thing, because we all need it. We all rely on it if we're busy as well. But, I've talked about this on live chats before about convenience food and how great it is, like with the Wicked Kitchen and Plant Chef or whatever when you see in supermarkets. But yeah, it's great to have those. Do you, because I was going to mention about washing products as well, because I've got a picture here which obviously shows that you're encouraging people to bring in their own bottles to obviously be more eco-friendly. And I think that's great, because there's a local shop that we have just down the road that does the same. It's a tiny organic shop, but they do the same. And I think that, is something you don't see. I mean, you're starting to see more in shops now, but it's only obviously vegan shops or organic shops that tend to do it, unless the bigger supermarkets are taking on that idea. But I think it's so important now more than ever.
It is, and I'm smiling because it was literally in my head as you were talking about popular products. I was thinking this is the next thing I'll mention will be the refillable cleaning products. Um, it's from the vegan angle. It's people don't realize that a lot of cleaning products, or most cleaning products and toiletries as well, are actually tested on animals and quite often contain animal products. So for a lot of people, first trying out veganism and trying to reduce their impact on animals, then yeah, that's one of the things that they don't that's like quite a shock. It's like, oh, okay, this is a thing. So yeah, obviously our range of cleaning products is all cruelty free and free of any animal products. But then there's the huge environmental impact of plastic as well, that plastic is having, particularly on our oceans, and the damage that it's doing there. So yeah, it's a very popular thing for people to do now, is bring in their empty bottle. It doesn't even have to be the same brand. It doesn't even have to be originally had, it could be an old Coke bottle or something. It could be anything, a glass bottle, glass jar, something. Fill it up, save some plastic. It's great. And it's cheaper too, because of course you're not paying for all that packaging.
Well, I was just going to say that it's cheaper because, I mean, you're
Yeah.
making it so easy for the customer. You're making it easy because they can just take in any bottle, like you say, that obviously it's a container for what they're refilling, but it also saves some money. So it's a
Yeah.
win-win, isn't it?
Right. We do it as well for shampoos and conditioners and body wash as well. And if you're in the Morningside area, we also do it now for dry goods refills as well. So for food, things like rice and dried beans and dried fruits like raisins and sultanas and porridge oats and that kind of thing as well.
You have got a really good reputation in your store. I Googled earlier
All
EasterGreens,
right.
and when it comes to reviews, 5 stars all the way.
Yeah, we're doing that.
Which is amazing. I mean, you've got that reputation, but people are saying that it's the friendly staff in
Mm,
approach as well, because obviously you've got people there that work with you that are approachable. So I think it's it comes down to quality, but also the staff too. So you've obviously
it
picked the
does.
right team.
Yeah, we've worked really hard to get a good team of people, and it's one of the things we look for when we get people in for interview and for a trial shift. It's the main thing for us is how do they interact with people, because we want people who are going to be chatty and are going to be friendly and are going to be confident to answer questions and talk about cooking and talk about food, and we want people to be excited about what they're selling in the shop. So that's a really important thing for us. And like you say, the reviews just prove that you come into EasterGreens and you get a good chat. It's not just about shopping; it's about community and about getting to know people and about being something beyond outside what's just between the four walls. Being part of a sort of wider community. We do quite a lot of stuff in the community as well. So we collect food for the local food bank in the shop, and we've done a fundraising project. So we did a fundraising for Cyrenians, which is a local homeless charity. So
That's
we've done
amazing.
some work with them. We've also done things like sponsorship in the local primary school calendar, little things like that we just like to get involved in and feel like we're doing something that's part of the community and trying to help out. It's good.
I think people remember that as well. They remember that you've done that work, and it goes hand in hand with obviously the approachable staff thing and the great customer service. I think people
Yeah.
people realize you're doing it. It's a genuine thing. I was going to ask you about what was I going to ask you about? It's gone. It'll come back. But also about I know what I was going to say. Is have you found it challenging during the pandemic? Because obviously a lot of businesses have suffered because of COVID. How have you had that positive thinking thing to go forward? Have you struggled?
Um, yes, I mean everybody has struggled in some way, but ultimately, what's got us through is the staff. Like we were talking about recruiting those right people, and we've definitely recruited the right people because everybody has just worked really hard to support each other. You know, it's even just having a conversation over a cup of tea. Like, how are you doing with things? How are things? How are you finding everything outside of at work or outside of work? How can we help? And that's the kind of um, yeah, it's just we just try to look after each other. So that's made a big difference, and the customers as well. Like a lot of the customers have been in, and during the lockdown, we just had the one shop when it all started off, and we had a very different shopping experience for people. So rather than going to a crowded supermarket where people were not really social distancing and weren't necessarily wearing masks, and it was crowded and it was busy and it was stressful, people could come to us, and we were doing a kind of across the counter store service. So we had a counter, it was actually my dining table that was in the doorway of the shop, and we were just serving people like an old-fashioned grocery shop where you go and you just say what you want and we go and like get it for you. So we were doing that, and it really helped with the social distancing. It helped people feel safe. We also had an online click and collect service, so people could order it all online and then come in the shop and collect it, which just made it so much easier for people. And then with the success of that, we were able to then open the shop number 2 in October. So.
How have you found it with 2 stores? Has it been more? I would imagine it's been more challenging, but you've obviously got a lot back in the sense that you've got 2 shops to manage, but you're getting twice the feedback, I guess. So you've got that positive thing back.
Yeah.
Is it hard work?
Of course.
Yeah.
Again, I've got a good team of people who make it a lot easier. Obviously, massive shout out to Ivy, who's my number 2, and she just makes my life a breeze. She's amazing. But what we found opening the different shop in a different area, it's slightly different customers. And it's just getting to know who they are and what they're looking for that's different to what the customers in shop number 1 are and what they're looking for, and just adapting what we're doing to kind of fit that. So, but it's ultimately the same thing. It's good quality food, friendly service, and we think we do that quite well.
Do you find yourself taking a lot of products home? That's more of a convenience for you, isn't it? That you're working around all this food and household products that you can actually buy stuff there at work and not have to go anywhere else.
Probably don't remember the last time I ate a vegetable that was just slightly going past its best before, if you see what I mean. So my husband has gotten very good at making food out of whatever vegetables and fruit I happened to bring home, because it was, just past its sort of sellable condition. So we do a lot of, curries and stir fries and that kind of thing, just using up whatever's left. So.
I did exactly that tonight. We had so much stuff in the fridge that I just made this tagine thing. And we've got some couscous. Yes, that will go with it. And just trying to use up all the stuff in the cupboards.
Ivy does a similar thing as well. She often taking things home and creates magnificent Instagrammable food out of what seems like nothing.
Yeah, so inspiring. And that leads me to my next question. What's in your fridge? Obviously, this is a big thing on YouTube. The YouTubers are all doing it. If you can remember what is in your fridge at the moment, what sort of stuff is in there? It's just me being nosy.
Lot of vegetables.
From EasterGreens.
Yes, of course. Probably a lot of tofu, because my husband likes to put tofu in just as much as he possibly can. So, what is? We've got some of the oat milk from a company called Bros, and Bros is a Scottish word for an old kind of mixture of oats and water, and it's basically it's made just outside of Edinburgh, and it's possibly like the best oat milk that I've tasted. It's so creamy, so good, and we sell it in the shop in reusable and refillable glass bottles. So it's like a bottle deposit scheme. You come in, you buy the milk, buy the bottle, and when you return the empty bottle, you get your deposit back. So, and it gets reused. So that's really good. So we got some of that. To be honest, there's probably other things in there, but my husband does all the cooking, so I forget what's in there.
Okay.
He keeps
We get him on for the interview next time.
right next time. Yeah,
because I was going to ask you about like favorite lunches, dinners, breakfast, things that you maybe go back to. It's like your go-to meal, because I tend to have Buddha bowls as my evening meal that I always resort back to, just because I guess they're healthy, but also because they're quite easy. I mean, if you're making a tahini sauce to go over the top, and I'm obsessed by that smoky water as well. I just put that in everything. Oh my God, I love that stuff.
like liquid smoke, or
Yeah, it's amazing. I love it. So is there something that you would go back to more often than not, or you have like a regular food that
yeah, it's a lot of stir fries because they're so easy.
See, my partner, he doesn't like stir fries, and I love stir fries. So I feel a bit shortchanged there.
I would, my sort of backup comfort food is just a simple dal. So a nice lentil curry, can't go wrong.
Nice.
Whether that's with rice or naan, and it's so easy because all you do is put onions and lentils in a pot and cook it with some spices, and it's done. You know, it's just like the easiest thing to make, and it's
I always
so good
forget
for you.
how great it is as well, because I never end up, or very rarely end up, making a curry, and when I do make it, I realise that I really like it and I should make it more. But yeah, I always forget.
If I had a choice, I think I would eat macaroni cheese a lot more than I do.
Yes.
But
what cheese,
there's no
though?
vegetables in it.
There are so many awful vegan cheeses, but there are a lot of great ones as well. That's the thing that we were talking about with Karen last week, Karen Ridges, saying that, you know, a lot of people just think that the Violife, which I guess are fine as well, but they just think that's the only vegan cheese that's out there, and there are a lot of cashew cheeses or almond cheeses, maybe a bit more expensive.
We stock another local product actually from a company called Earthy, the Earthy vegan cheeses. So they actually have a little yoga studio and cafe called Beetroot Sauvage, and the cheese, she's got two sort of she's got about 5 cheeses that she makes, but 3 of them I think are soy based. And the other is cashew based. So there's like a mozzarella and a Gouda and a pepper jack cheese, which are all the kind of soy based ones, and then the cashew based ones is a brie and a blue cheese, and they're all amazing. I really like the mozzarella myself because it's like really creamy, and it's got quite a nice. It just I usually get like a garlic cracker, and I put it on that just with some butter, and it's just, because it's quite a mild taste, it goes really well with the garlic cracker. It's really good.
Sounds really good. I think I would prefer the soy-based cheeses over the coconut oil, because I think they tend to be a bit rubbery sometimes. It's like there's not much flavour there as well.
They can be. Although I have to say, Violife mature cheddar in a macaroni cheese, it goes quite well.
Excellent.
Yeah, yes. I know you're saying no Violife, but it does go all right.
Yeah. Leo and Ivy, who is your favourite dog that visits the shop?
Oh, there's
good question.
So many. We're dog friendly establishment, so dogs regularly come in. I'm not very good with names, whether it comes to people or animals. But there's a really old bulldog that comes in, and Ivy will probably jump up in a minute and say what its name is. But it's just this sort of slow waddles along, and it's just, you know, the girl who has this dog, she's always just kind of, she just doesn't bother waiting for it. She just comes in and does her shopping, and by the time she's finished her shopping, the dog's caught up and it's just coming into the shop behind her. And it's just so funny to watch. It's somebody that used to work for us recently also got a little Labrador puppy. I think it's a Labrador, some sort of excitable dog of that sort of size. I'm pretty sure it's a Labrador. But yeah, it's very excitable and always pleased to see you.
I love how you say that you never remember the names, because my partner's always remembering lots of dogs' names and then comes back and says, "Oh, I saw such and such," and I'm none the wiser.
Yeah.
Again, I don't remember the human names either. It's all the
Yeah.
dogs. Oh, there we go. It's Hero.
Hero, that was it. I was trying to think it was like an American bulldog or something. I don't know. And I was trying to think along those lines of hero, American hero. That must have been where my brain was going. But yeah.
So your store is dog friendly. That's a rarity in itself, I think. You don't get many stores that
Yeah.
allow dogs in. Which,
Well, one of our best customers at Morningside is a little white Yorkshire Terrier who comes in for carrots. So just absolutely loves carrots. And actually, they cannot walk past this shop now without being dragged in to get a carrot because she knows that this is where the carrots are.
They really love carrots. Our rescue dog, when you're chopping carrots, goes a bit nuts. Yeah. And we're always putting it in his food as well. He's barking now. You can probably hear that. So he always does it. Always starts barking whenever I'm doing live streams or recording stuff. Yeah.
We have a cat here and he's fast asleep. So,
so you've got a cat. How long have you had your cat?
Officially, about a year and a bit. Unofficially, maybe more like 2.5 years, because he was. It's a complicated story which I won't get into, but there was a living across the road originally, and those people moved away, and it all was very complicated. But anyway, he ended up living with us in the long term eventually. Yeah, we've accidentally adopted a cat.
Oh, that's great. I love how cats just mind their own business as well. You can just leave them. Not that you should just leave them completely, but you can get on and do things.
Left alone.
Whereas my dog, just like if I'm doing work, he'll just want attention all the time. Yeah. Oh, hang on. White Widow 66. Hello to everybody who's watching and who is commenting. Please do ask any questions. Assuming that Alasdair will want to answer questions. Is that okay? It's like a live thing.
I'm quite happy to answer questions.
That's good. That's good.
I'm not promising you the answers, but I'll try.
Vegan Ichiligo. I don't know. Vegan Ichiligo clout. Don't know what that means. I don't know who that is. But anyway, yeah. I'm so glad that we're having this chat, because this is only, I think, we're the fourth week into our live chat. So
I'm very honoured to be one of the
good to finally catch up with you. I was going to ask you about eating out as well, because Edinburgh, I've never been there, want to go there. Hopefully next year I'll come up. But are there any places that you tend to favour over others, because you've got a real choice of vegan restaurants there?
Yeah. One of my favourite pastimes is eating out. So I think I can probably answer this for you. I've got a few favourites. I think there's 3 that jump to mind. One of them would be Sorrellella, which is an Italian restaurant, a Roman Italian restaurant, which is owned by a lovely girl called Maddie, and it is just amazing. Pizzas and pastas, and it's not a huge menu, but what they do have is just really, really good. And they do these deep fried rice balls as a starter as well, which are just you have to definitely get those. So that's probably one of my favorites. And they have a sister restaurant called Nova Pizza, which I guess focuses more on pizzas rather than pastas as well, although I think it does both. But it's probably up there with one of my tops. Another one that's my favorite is Harmonium. We actually had our wedding ceremony in there because we love it so much. And they actually were in a different location, and they've just moved just before the pandemic. I think they moved to a new location. But their thing is, yes, it's 100% vegan, but the menu is written in a way that you wouldn't know. I think it maybe says on it in small writing somewhere, by the way, everything is vegan. But it's like it just describes everything as you would in a in a, it's just like, it's like fish and chips, and I can't remember now what all the other things are, but it's everything's described as if it was just a traditional kind of meal that you would get in a sort of traditional British restaurant, I guess. And it's it's really good. It's always really good. And then my other favorite is probably one that we've gotten familiar with more recently because it's over in towards our Morningside shop, and it is called Seeds for the Soul. And they're, I would say, probably leaning more towards the healthy side of food, but they do also have cakes, and the cakes are really good. So it's not 100% healthy, but yeah, they've got a good sort of breakfast and lunch type range, so it's really good. I'm going to keep going and listing them all because they're also good. There's a Holy Cow, not a cow that is holy, but a place called Holy Cow. It's very near the bus station actually, which is convenient if you're just getting into town or you're just thinking to leave town. And it's more of a cafe type, lunchtime type place, and it's definitely more towards the healthy range. But they do good juices and smoothies and stuff in there as well. So it's a good one. That's the ones that jump to mind. There's loads more. I could go on, but
I'm
we'd be here
making
all
a
night.
note of all of these. In fact, I'm going to watch this video back and write them all down. So when I do actually come up, I will be visiting these places. Eating out, that's another thing. I haven't done that since the start of lockdown. And we're going to a place in West London somewhere. When I worked in radio, I left last August, but as a leave-in present, they gave me vouchers for this 6-course vegan tasting menu. So we're going there in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, on a Thursday at the end of the month. So I'm looking forward to doing that because we haven't eaten out for a long time. We're just been stuck in
That'll
cooking.
be quite a treat.
Yeah. So it's been great chatting to you, Alasdair. I wish you all the best with the store, continuous success. Obviously, Edinburgh, a great place for vegans. We mentioned earlier, it came up as, in a poll. I think it was a few years ago that, the best place in the UK to be vegan.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm biased, but I would definitely agree.
So what's happening in store? EasterGreens, you got the 2 stores. What's happening there at the moment?
Exciting new products, like I was talking about, the pick and mix range is the new stuff that's coming in. We've just gone through our promotional change, so we've got some new stuff on offer. We've got the new Future Farm range. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's a frozen range of burgers and sausages and mince and chicken. So it's really good. Of course, we got samples first, so tried them all, and there's probably, as meat alternatives go, it's one of the better ones. So that's quite exciting. And we're just keeping working away at our 2 shops. We're maybe looking at opening another one, possibly early next year.
Wow.
So not sure where it's going to be yet. Might be in Edinburgh or it might be somewhere else. So watch this space.
So when you say somewhere else, is in Scotland, or will it be
likely
further
to
out?
be somewhere in Scotland? Somewhere else in Scotland for now. Yeah.
I was going to say, if you open one in London, I would be there.
Yeah.
I'll be taking the camera, filming in store. But yeah, hopefully, at some point I'll be up to come and visit you in store. And also, you can take your dogs as well, which is another plus.
Yeah, definitely.
Couldn't take my dog though, because my dog is nervous, doesn't really walk far. Bless him. But we're sorting that at the moment. It's very
a work in progress.
Yeah, exactly. Very slow process. Yeah. But it's Alasdair, so good to chat with you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having me. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
And people can check you out. Is it eastergreens.com?
EasterGreens.co.uk.
And all
you can
over social
also
media.
find us on all the social medias. I think we even have a TikTok channel now, although I think we're still figuring that one out.
Go viral. Go viral with TikTok.
Yeah. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you'll find us there. EasterGreens should come up in the search.
Amazing. Good luck with everything, and good luck with the sweets. The sweet selection. Yes. I'll be there for that alone. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for watching, everybody.
All right. Take care.
Soon.